everybody. It is Kevin and Ralph, and we're here in the cottage kitchen doing some cooking. We are going to have pork chops tonight for dinner, and something that I like to fix with pork is Polish coleslaw. Now, I'll show you what makes it Polish in a little bit, but Polish coleslaw, this version really starts with a certain kind of dressing. And there's creamy coleslaw and there's vinaigrette coleslaw. And we have vinaigrette coleslaw. My mother never put mayonnaise in coleslaw, and I don't either. So we're going to make, first of all, our coleslaw dressing. And that requires the use of one of these, a blender. And you may have one at home, and maybe you just use it for mixing drinks or making smoothies. But one thing it's great for is making salad dressing. And for this salad dressing, we want a really sweet, tangy flavor.
So what do we have here?
Here's what we have, and we're going to start with the ingredients. We're going to start with a half a cup of sugar. So yes, this is a sweet dressing. So a half a cup of sugar goes in. Then we're going to put our seasonings in. We've got a teaspoon of very fine onion powder, a teaspoon and a half of ground celery seed. Now you could use whole celery seed if you want. It's hard to find ground celery seed. Penzeys Spices has it. So I'm using the ground celery seed. We've got a teaspoon of dry mustard and a quarter teaspoon of salt. So we're going to put all that in the blender. Okay. Then we're going to use our vinegar, a third of a cup. Now, you can use either a white vinegar or an apple cider vinegar, whichever you prefer or have on hand. I have an apple cider vinegar here. Then the next component is honey.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this is honey from right up here in the thumb of Michigan, local honey. We're going to put in about a third of a cup of honey.
So you just sort of eyeball that?
Yeah. You can measure it out if you want, but I've made this enough times, so that's a third of a cup. We're going to just kind of give that
a quick mix, okay.
Yep. Okay. Now you have to add your oil, and the reason why the blender is so great is this will really help make this emulsion, which is basically will pull everything together. So we're going to turn the blender on, and we're going to slowly pour 1 cup of corn oil into the blender.
So this is like a mad scientist over there.
So
is that just corn oil like you would use for cooking?
yeah, missile oil. Mm-hmm. So now you can see how thick, how wonderfully thick that dressing is.
It looks like, yeah, like a paste almost, or a milkshake or something.
So that's our dressing. I'm going to put this in a jar and put it in the fridge. It's nice to make it at least a couple hours in advance. You can even make it a day in advance, and have it ready. Kind of keeps the flavors together. You want it cold because coleslaw should be cold and crisp. And so I'm going to put this in a jar and get it in the refrigerator. Okay? And then we'll come back and we'll actually put the coleslaw together. So be right back. We're making Polish coleslaw. Okay, we are back, and we're on the second part of our making our Polish coleslaw. So we've got the dressing made that's in the fridge, chilling and kind of setting up. And then the next part is sort of putting the actual coleslaw together. So, you know, during the summertime, right, we all enjoy stuff outside, grilling and barbecues and picnics. So coleslaw is often a regular item, and this is something that we do a lot of. So we're going to start with coleslaw. Now, you can buy coleslaw already made, the cabbage shredded up and with carrots, and sometimes it's got red cabbage. If you have cabbage and carrots, you can make it yourself by all means. Now, I just happen to buy some because I do find it to be a time saver. And what I am going to do, though, is I'm going to chop this cabbage up. You can see the cabbage is shredded. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it up.
Make it even finer.
Exactly, so that it's almost diced.
So what is that thing you're using?
This is a chopping blade. And you can see this is basically kind of what it's used for, is just to chop things, especially in bowls. It's kind of got a curved blade to it. You know, if you didn't have one of these, something else that works fairly well is a pizza cutter wheel.
Okay.
I've used that too as a, to improvise.
So is that thing actually sharp, or is it just more that it's metal?
No, it's sharp.
Okay.
I could and have cut myself on it plenty of times. So.
Oh, you have.
Yeah.
Well, this is, like you said, a way to use a step saver or time saver, but also personalize it and make it your own by making it a little finer. And then I know you're going to add some fresh ingredients from your herb garden. Now,
if we were using the coleslaw, say, on top of pulled pork or something like that, I might leave it shredded and not cut it up as small. And by the way, this coleslaw is delicious on a sandwich like that. But because we're actually going to have coleslaw as sort of our salad, I like it chopped up a little finer. Okay, there we have it. Now, I think someone said, well, why is it a Polish coleslaw? Dill.
And is that...
That's
fresh
I just cut it. Parsley. So we have a little herb garden up here, and so we're going to just take this fresh dill. You want to show them the herb garden, Ralph?
It's really just a bunch of nice pots growing some herbs. I don't know if he's going to plan to put them in the ground or keep them in the pots, but
I'm going to keep them in the pots.
And then they're real easy to get to.
They're real easy to get to, and
yeah,
I think it keeps some of our little critter friends out of them. But the dill is very fragrant.
And who has a sensitive sniffer?
You do. And when I brought it into the house, he says, "You got dill in there?"
I was three rooms away, and I said, "I smell dill, and it's one of my favorite flavors."
So we're just going to kind of mince this up real fine.
You're good at mincing. There you go.
A little dill goes a long way. It's great. It's a great to use. We put dill in potato salad is another great use for it. Then we're going to take some of our parsley here. I wish I had more, but the parsley is just starting now to kind of come into bloom.
Let's talk about something. I'm not a cook or chef by any means, and let's talk about some basic things here. What you're doing now, I wouldn't know to do that. You're using, when you cut the dill and the parsley, you basically are taking off the stems, is that right? And just using the flowering part?
And the leaves. And the stems, have flavor to them, but
they're chewier.
They're chewy, they're kind of woodsy, and so
woodsy in the sense like you mean you're eating a piece of wood?
Well, like you're eating like a stick.
Like fibery.
Yeah.
So this is the preferred way to do it when you're using fresh herbs, is to just take off the leafy part.
Especially you can see how thick the dill stems are. The parsley stems are not quite as thick, but
there's nothing to prevent me from just chewing on it.
No, there is not.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up, Doc?
So we're going to give this a little stir around. Now you see it also gives it this really bright, kind of wonderful color.
Mix of colors, yeah.
So there is our Polish coleslaw. Now we're going to add the celery seed dressing to it, which is still chilling out in the fridge, and put it together. And everything's to taste. So when you put the dressing on. Some people like a lighter dressing, some people like more, but we have just made Polish coleslaw for dinner, for our salad. So, hope you make some. Take it to your next barbecue. It'll be a big hit, I promise.
Good for summer parties.
Absolutely. See you next time.